I'm having delusions of grandeur and wanting to cast on another pair of socks. I'm like... Hi friends, welcome back to MONTTFIBERS, my knitting and fiber corner of the internet. Today I'm here for my knitting podcast number 4 or maybe number 3. I think it's number 3 actually. As I mentioned in my last video, I'm really trying to be a little bit more consistent with posting. Hopefully going to do one video every week, week and a half, and then at most at least once every 2 weeks. But anyway, I'm here today to talk about all the things that I've been working on, the things I finished. This will follow the typical knitting podcast formula that most folks out there use. So, and if you see my plant moving and stuff, 1, I'm sometimes hitting it. 2, my cat is like running around. Paul, as always. Anyway, sorry, refocus. So this podcast will follow the typical formula of how knitting podcasts go. So I will talk about my finished objects. I will then go into my whips and then into any acquisitions. And now, if you watched my last video, you're probably asking yourself, acquisitions? But Jackie, didn't you just say in the last video you weren't getting any more yarn? Well, surprise, surprise, I had placed an order for yarn through Wool Warehouse before I made that video, and it did arrive. So I want to show that to you guys, show that it is coming into my collection. All of that is, well, I'll get to it when I get to it. Let me just get started. So let's start with my finished objects. Okay, guys, so first I did want to mention I am wearing the Mood sweater by Spektakelstrik. It's Danish. I can't actually say it properly. This was like actually one of the first sweaters I ever knit, if you can believe. I'm obsessed with it. It's one of my favorites. I think it's so cute, and I've worn it in a video before, but I wore it to work today, so I figured it'd be a great day to film. I knit this in Malabrigo Rios, and then the smiley face colors, most of them were knit picks. Something I can't remember now. So anyway, moving into my finished objects, things I finished since we last spoke. So the very first thing I have is my Anneli cardigan. It's kind of hard to show a cardigan not on your body, but here's a picture of it from my Instagram, and I will hold it up a little better. Here we go. I love the detailing of the lace on the raglan. It's just a very simple, easy to wear cardigan. I have been wearing this to events, to work. I've already worn it a bunch. I knit this up using Madeline Tosh Twist Light, I believe. It's a fingering weight yarn. That's the base color of the green, or sorry, of the cardigan here. And then I held it with a strand of mohair from formerly the Yarn Addict Co., now Little Fiber Co., and the Madeline Tosh color is in Grasshopper. It's like a neon-y green. Then the mohair, this darker color, is in Undergrowth. I think I got one of the last couple skeins of that. So I used 2 balls of the mohair and then like 2 balls and a little itty bitty bit of the 3rd ball for the body of this cardigan. And then I picked up these really adorable buttons. You can see. Let's see if I can block my face so it will focus. There we go. These really cute buttons I picked up from Mood, the fabric store from like Project Runway. They're super cute. They actually don't really hold this cardigan close, so that was a mistake, but I actually haven't ever wanted to wear this closed. I like having it with a white tank top underneath, and I think it looks really cute, and so I'm okay with that button choice for this cardigan. And anyway, that was my first finished object of the month of January, and I had been working on this since maybe October of last year, and I cast it on while I was on a work trip in San Antonio. I did take a break working on it while I was working on gift knits and a bunch of things in November and December, yeah. So I did take a long break, but very happy with how this came out, and it's like already going to be a classic staple in my closet, I know for sure. And a fun fact is that this was a free pattern. So I'm just really happy to be delving deeper into Ravelry these days and finding projects that are maybe a little less popular, and trying to save myself a little money on that end too, because as I mentioned in my last video, we are saving for a wedding. So, you know. And if you hear a little bit of rumble, my laundry's going. I'm not going to stop for this video because it's already 7 p.m. and I just want to film this before I have dinner and get ready for the evening. Okay, so I only had one other finished object, and this was something that's been on my needles since 2023. This is my Paloma sweater. I need to stand back a little, I think. So the next finished object is the Paloma sweater. It is a mock neck, and how freaking adorable is this? It's a mock neck with a really long ribbing, and this twisted rib detailing on the shoulders. You can see. I need to cover my face for it to pick up. But anyway, I just wanted to show it to you fully big. It's pink. It's fluffy, it's soft, it's delicious. I can't wait to wear it for Valentine's Day. And you may have noticed there's still ends to be woven in, so maybe it's not 100% done, but I'm going to weave these in tonight. I finished this a couple days ago, but have been really busy with work and things, so I haven't had time to weave in the ends, but I'm going to weave them in tonight and block this because the shoulder detail, you can see, obviously I wash and block all my things, but the shoulder detailing I think will really come out and be nice to see once it is blocked. Up close I'll show you. So this is just twisted rib all the way. It like follows the mock neck all the way down to the cuffs, and I just love that detail. I think it's so gorgeous. I knit this up in the Scranton Stitcher, one of my favorite dyers of all time, one of my favorite indie dyers. In her colorway Frankenberry was the base color, and then I held it with one strand of Strawberry Milk. This came out with her cereal collection. I think it was probably in 2023 or whenever that collection came out. I picked it up with this sweater in mind. I knew I wanted a mock neck. I knew I wanted pink with a little bit of variegation, and I'm absolutely thrilled with how this came out. I kind of forgot I had this project at all and forgot about it for over a year, and then found it when I was going through my things and brought it to a knit night, and everybody was complimenting it, and I was like, wow, it really pushed me to want to finish this up, and I'm really excited with the final result. So those are my two finished objects, which honestly for me is pretty good. I mean, both of these were things that kind of have been on the needles for a long time. And I did make it a goal to finish up a bunch of the whips I have. I haven't started working on any other, or like I haven't re-picked up any whips that I've kind of been putting on ice for the last year or so. But maybe by the next podcast I will. But moving on to my whips. So the last time we spoke, I was still working on that cardigan. I also still have my shock sock. So again, this is my shock sock pattern by Park and Knit. This is the first one I knit for my fiance. I think it came out really cute. It's like just really delicious. I made this a little too big, so I'm trying a different method with the second sock. I have cast on the second sock. This time I'm using 9-inch circulars, which I did not use last time, and I'm really pleased with the gauge I'm getting with this, so I might just need to knit a whole, like a third sock, and this would just have been a mistake sock. We'll see. But I think it's coming out much better with these circulars than when I was using Magic Loop. I think I couldn't really figure out how to get these zigzags to like work properly over the Magic Loop. I was really, really struggling with that. And I'm catching my floats with a ladder back jacquard. Let's see if you can see that. Focus on me. All right, there we go. So you can see in there. Anyway, so back to my shock sock. I cast this on. I'm going to be working on it We'll see how the entire sock comes out, but I'm already much happier with the 9-inch circulars. I just think for me, it seems like that's the best method, and using this new float method is helping my stitches feel more even throughout the transition from row to row. But yeah, so I'm really happy with the progress I'm making on this. Hopefully I can make some good progress on it. But this hasn't been my main knit lately because I got influenced by one of my dear friends who is not a knitter and not really a crafter, but one of my closest friends was like, you should try knitting some stuff for your wedding shower and for your bachelorette. So I have a couple of ideas of like dresses I want to do for my bachelorette, but the first thing I wanted to work on, this is the Tied and True cardigan by Tamara Jordan, and I just think this is the absolute most adorable, stunning, delicate, bridal wedding little cardigan that I have ever seen. I saw it, I immediately became obsessed. It is knit in one strand of lace. The samples are all done in mohair. I'm sure you could knit this in an alpaca or any lace weight yarn. I am choosing to knit this in mohair. I did have these 2 balls of Drops Kid Silk, so this is what I'm using to knit it up. And I did look through some of the project pages. It seems like some people who want a little more warmth with it have held another yarn with it and are just knitting at a different gauge and doing calculations that way. So it's definitely possible. If that's something you're interested in, take a look at the project notes for those. My project notes on this will be updated on my Ravelry, which is under Jackie Mont, but I think I'll probably be changing that to MONTTFIBERS, but we'll see. By the time this goes up, it will still be Jackie Mont. I won't change it, and I'll put that up there. Here's where I am so far. I cast this on, I think, when was that? Maybe a week ago, maybe a week ago. Would be helpful if I could show you, but it's a little tangled, sorry. So right now it's inside out, but I've already connected the front and back, so it's connected. I'm working on the body now. It is knit flat, so you can see it's a cardigan, and it's started with, on the back, you work short rows, and then you knit down the back, and then you knit the 2 front panels and connect in the round. A very typical, like, vest, cardigan, what is the word? Construction. Very typical construction. So for this, I'm really excited. It's knitting up really fast. This is like what I've been carrying on the train because it's so light and fluffy. You can see just like, it's amazing. I'm like so happy with it, but and yeah, I think it's going to be a great addition to my wedding attire. I am knitting this in Drops Kid Silk. So I had 2 of these and I did order 2 more to finish them. But as notorious with drops, look how different these look. I'm like, oh my gosh, the dye lots are just like completely different and the makeup of it looks so different. So I'm going to be using one of the newer ones as my next one to finish up the body and just like hope it doesn't look that different. I think to like any regular schmegular non-knitter where I'm going to be wearing this like at my wedding shower in February or in March, nobody's really gonna know, and I think since it's so sheer, I'm hoping it just won't be super noticeable, but if it is, I'll deal with that when I get there. But yeah, so this has been my main knit, what I've been very excitedly working on. And my third and only other whip right now is my 2025 temperature blanket. So I have been vlogging my January process for this 2025 temperature blanket. That has not gone up yet. That will go up in February for January. So it will be the whole month and all that I've worked on it. So I'm not going to go into so much depth right now because I'll talk more about it in that video. But I will show it to you. So I'm keeping it in this RK Bridal bag, which is just a really nice tote bag that I got when I went wedding dress shopping in 2023 or very early 2024. This is the same bag I did. It must have been 2023. I kept my 2023 blanket yarn in this as well, and it worked out perfect. So I just kind of keep this in the living room for easy knitting while watching TV. I'm right in the middle of a row, so I'm going to just be a little careful. Yeah, I'm knitting this in fingering weight because I am a little bit crazy, but not crazy. I had a lot of fingering weight and I want to use it. And I think having a lightweight blanket is like not necessarily a terrible idea. I love like a blanket, and in the summertime, I think a nice one to just put over my lap or whatever, and like to have the cats lay on. They already love, here's a video of them on my 2023 blanket. They love it. It's like their favorite thing ever. So I'm just imagining they'll love this too. But yeah, so far I've only done 6 days. Here I'm doing 2 rows per fingering weight just so that the stripes are a little thicker. I thought 1 row would not be nearly enough for this blanket. And I'm really happy with how it's turning out. I think it's going to be a nice light, you know, summer and spring blanket, not like my heavy 2023 one. And yeah, I go into much more detail about this in the video that will be coming out like the very end of January. So yeah, hopefully I will be caught up to the, you know, 30th of January by the time that goes up. That is the goal, to try to finish this month. So yeah, I only just cast this on like yesterday, and you can see I've done a lot. I started out with different needles and a different gauge, and I didn't like it. I talk a lot about that in the other video, and then I switched to the DYERS needles, but I had to wait for them to come in the mail. They're like a US size too, so they're super teeny tiny. And yeah, that's just like a brief little update. I think I'll show you guys my temperature blanket like briefly in these videos, but I am going to be trying to vlog every month my progress on this blanket and posting it so that it keeps me accountable. Hopefully it keeps you accountable if you're doing a temperature blanket. And if you're interested in that, please subscribe because that video will be coming very soon. And that is it for my whips. I'm having delusions of grandeur.
Can't I make you understand? You're having delusions of grandeur.
I'm wanting to cast on another pair of socks. I like had this vision to create my own knitting pattern for a pair of Lunar New Year socks. I wrote the whole pattern up. I made the whole design. They're a snake pattern, but I kind of chickened out on like actually publishing that and knitting them. So I might just try to knit them up myself soon, and then maybe I'll just release them whenever I feel confident about that. It's not going to make Lunar New Year, which today is the 23rd. It's not going to make it in the next 6 days. If it does, that would be quite the miracle. But yeah, so I've been having visions of casting that on. I also, you know, want to cast on some other things, like I mentioned, for my wedding, my bachelorette party, my fiance wants a cardigan. So I have a lot of things that I'm trying to work on, and oh, and like a Maxine hot water bottle cover, or just another hot water bottle cover. I don't know, something. I think I'm going to pause on casting on anything until I go through my collection and do all those videos talking through what I own and my plans for them, so that I don't get lost in the sauce of like my ideas and like whatever new thing is like sparking my joy and my attention in that minute. But yeah, so those are my whips, and hopefully next time I'll be further along on these and maybe have a couple of new ones on the needles. Moving on to my acquisitions. So I already showed you those 2 Drops Kid Silk Mohair skeins. Those were part of this order. And I placed this order before I decided to not buy any new yarn in 2025. Oh, let me take my address out of this bag. So if you've ordered from Wool Warehouse before, you know, it comes in these beautiful organza bags, which I use to store projects. As you can see, this is white and cream yarn. I have 2 white dresses that I'm hoping to knit for my bachelorette party. One is like a cover up, and one is just like a simple dress. And again, this was all inspired by my one friend who said, you should knit some stuff for your wedding because that's like such a big part of your personality. And I totally agree with her, so I'm very excited about that. I got 6 balls in each of these. They are, let's see, this first one is King Cole Finesse Cotton Silk DK. This is a 50-gram ball, 77% cotton, 23% silk. It's 131 yards or 120 meters. So let's see. I've never used this brand before, but already just feeling it, it feels really soft and light. think this would make a really great cover up. That's what this will be for. So I have 6 skeins of this to knit that cover up. And the pattern I'm planning to knit with this cotton silk is the Blanco dress by Le Pole. It's right here. It's super cute. It's like a little risque, but that's why I think it'd be perfect for a cover up. And then I can use it on our honeymoon and then forever after, you know, I mean, white will always, I think, go nicely with all my things. So yeah, I'm very excited to cast that on. We'll see when I cast it on. It might not be before the next episode, but we shall see. And then the other yarn I bought is this DMC 100% baby cotton. I've never used this brand either in yarn. I've used DMC floss, and this is 50 grams, 116 yards, 100% cotton. And for this, I'm planning to knit the Made You Look dress by Vanessa Fleming, or Ocean Knits, on Instagram. And it's a really cute dress. I've had it on my to knit for a really long time. I have not bought the pattern yet. I haven't bought either of these patterns yet, but I did buy the yarn, and that was kind of what I was thinking. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm wondering if it is enough yarn. So I might need to reassess, but well, if I cast it on, I'll make that decision before. So I think that's all for my video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm really glad to have all of you guys join me on my knitting journey in 2025. If you could, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.